exactly for the ones who are wanting to start on the data analysis area and who have more experience can even help me with case studies, cases that may have happened with you. And on the second session, we'll talk about real-time ingestion. We already had some meetings about real-time ingestion. I have the recording on my YouTube channel. This meeting about real-time ingestion will focus on difference between two techniques of real-time ingestion from Azure SQL to Microsoft Fabric. So, on the first session, we'll talk about comparison between a production environment and a data intelligence environment. Why they need to be different environments. So first, this is me, Dennis, for who I'm meeting today. I'm a former data platform MVP, some certification. I'm leader of the user group, multi-data platform user group, and here are my contacts. It will be a pleasure to stay in touch in social media. You can add me on LinkedIn. The recordings that I just talked are on my YouTube channel. It will be a pleasure to be in touch in social media. So, the multi-data platform user group. The multi-data platform user group is included in the portal Community Fabric Microsoft. This is the portal for Microsoft Fabric community for the ones using Microsoft Fabric. And since Fabric is the new guy from Microsoft. Microsoft wants everything to go right. It still has many mistakes, but they want everything to go right. For some time, and I believe it still happens, Microsoft hired employees only to answer questions in this forum. So if you have a question, a problem with Fabric, you come to the forum, and it's not only the community that will help, but employees will help answering questions. And here we have our user group. If you would like to join and check additional ways for us to interact using this registration of the user group in the community portal, that's great. And here are some links of the user group. We have a meetup. When I deliver some newsletter, I always send a copy to the meetup. My Twitter. We have a Facebook page and a Facebook group. And we have a WhatsApp group. For example, these days, the WhatsApp group was with some movement. Usually people are shy, don't talk too much, but this is the week of the Ignite. We were sharing the session that we were watching, exchanging information, so on. It's always nice, this exchange. So, the agenda about this first session. I'll talk first about basic definitions in relation to the topic. We'll talk about production and data intelligence environment. Production versus analytics, and summarize the difference that I will show. So, basic definitions. Production. What is production? Production is a normalized data store. Normalized, what's normalized?
Standard.
In data platform, when we build a database, we have a rule, a technical rule, which are called normal forms to define the modeling of database. The database in production needs to follow these normal forms. The database in analytics doesn't need. At the moment, this is a specification, but I will dig deeper explaining why. So, it's about the daily activities data. What we call production database is the database that will support daily activities. In a coffee shop, the database that will store each sale of the coffee shop, for example. The database that will support all the daily activities related to the company. So it's essential for the company activities. Without this database working, the company goes down. Like, for example, you go to a bank and the bank tells you, oh, the system is offline. And the bank can't do anything because it's offline. So this is the production area, the production database. And it requires performance. It can't be something slow. It requires performance for everything. It requires performance for querying the data, and it requires performance for inserting the data. For example, in a coffee shop. The client is in front of you, waiting for his coffee. He wants to know the price of the coffee, so the database needs to answer with a query telling the price of the coffee, and the sale needs to be recorded. And it needs to be fast because the guy will not be waiting the entire day. The guy may be in a rush going to the work. He will not wait the entire day. So it needs to be fast. This is a requirement for production. So basic concept. Production should not be used as a source for analytics, for data analysis. This is a big mistake that many companies do. Many companies get in love with Power BI, Tableau, or something similar, connect that thing directly to the production database and start. That's terribly wrong, terribly. And the point is exactly to understand why that is wrong. Because our bosses, the responsibles for the company will hardly ever understand this concept. So it's end up being our responsibility to understand this concept and explain this kind of concept in relation to the data. For example, I already worked with some boss who had no understanding, could not understand why we had to keep history of the data. They were not capable to understand. So every work that I was doing to keep the history of the data, I had to do without telling him. Then, when he was in trouble, he needed some information. The information was there because I kept the history of the data. But he couldn't understand why it was needed. So, the production can't be the source for Power BI. Can't be the source for analytics. This is a basic concept that we'll try to understand why. Why the production can't be the source for analytics. Production and analytics. Activities. Now I'm talking about the activities which are made over production and activities which are made over analytics. The production and analytics activities are completely different. And because they are completely different, they don't match in a single environment. They should not be kept in a single environment. So let's make a comparison. Production versus analytics. First, resource consumption. The pattern for resource consumption. This is the comparison between production and analytics. And I'm using some letters there, OLAP and OLTP. What's that? OLTP means online transactional processing. Online transaction processing. This is the kind of processing which is made in the production environment. Production requires what is called transaction. The data requires integrity. You can't mix, you can't miss an order, for example. You can't miss a customer information. You require integrity. OLAP, on the other hand, is online analytical processing. The processing to analyze all the set of data that you have and take conclusions about all the set of data that you have. This is what we call OLAP. So, and here we are seeing a difference between resource consumption. What this difference in resource consumption means? Production is the everyday of the company. The everyday of the company. So the everyday of the company are some constant queries. The company has some applications already used, already defined. They don't change overnight. These applications have specific queries which are being sent to the database. They don't change overnight. So their resource consumption for production is constant. But their resource consumption for analytics depends on the feet your manager put out of the bed in the morning. Depending on the feet your manager put out of the bed, he may come with a great idea to try to analyze some specific combination of data to see if he creates a special sale offer in the company, if that sale offer would attract the customer. So he needs to make an analysis in all the set of data which is inside the database. So what I'm showing here in relation of OLAP processing is that most of the time there is nothing. It's not something constant. But out of the blue, the managers will come with this idea, and this idea will require to analyze huge amounts of data. You need to create huge queries, and this will be the processing when your manager have an idea like this. The problem is your manager wants his idea for yesterday. They always want their idea for yesterday. But if you execute something taking this level of resource consumption, what will happen with the production work? The production work will get slower. The production work will be affected, will get slower. So what we are discovering on this slide, the consumption pattern for a production environment and for an analytics environment is completely different. If you mix them in the same environment, the production will disturb the analytics, and your manager will be complaining that his analyses are delaying. And at the same time, the analytics will disrupt production, and the company will lose data, but your manager will not even notice that. That's what usually happens. Query pattern. The type of queries which are made in the production environment and the analytics environment. So, in production, we require performance. The queries need to have performance. In analytics, performance is something secondary. It's something completely secondary. Of course, based on your personal experience, you will challenge this statement, of course, because there are many managers who still demand performance on analytics. There are. But I'm talking about analytics as a whole, as a general result. Does that manager really need that information with that performance? If he asks the information in the morning and you deliver the information at night, it's more than okay. He has the information to make his analysis and take his decision. And that's fine. That's why we usually say that production queries have a response time, but analytical queries have a delivery date. For example, if the CEO gets to you and asks, I want an information about this, and this. You may not even have all this data together or in one place to give the answer to your CEO. So you ask, okay, to when? Analytics is something that has a delivery date and not response time. The common demands that start in relation to response time, they usually are, they should be exceptions. Production deals with individual records. Analytics deals with big amount of records. So usually we have big amount of records when dealing with analytics. Why? Because we need to analyze all the history of orders and check the result about that history of orders, information about the customers who bought that orders, and so on. So we need to fully analyze the data. While in production, we are talking about a customer in front of us ordering a coffee. We have one record related to the coffee, inserting one record related to the sale, and that's it. Individual record. Production deals with individual records, and analytics deals with big amount of records, and that's why one of the reasons of the difference in resource consumption that I just illustrated. Production has always the same queries. This is very good for that our old friend called DBA. Because if production has always the same query, he can prepare the database for those queries and make the database especially optimized for those queries. On the other hand, analytics is what makes the DBAs crazy, because it's always something new and something not optimized, something demanding lots of resources from the server and creating problems for the production environment. So we see a completely different query pattern. And seeing this completely different query pattern, this is one more reason why production and analytics needs to be different environments. They need to be in different environments. Data window. What is data window? Data window is the amount of data that you really need in the production environment. For example, there is that old joke about a guy who was dealing with file cabinets full of folders, full of documents, and he goes to the boss and says, we don't use that thing for nothing. Could I drop those things in the garbage? The boss thinks, and says, yes, but please take a copy of everything before. So, production has a window of visibility which is needed for the production. What is the window of visibility needed for production? 6 months? No, it depends on your business. I can't say the window of visibility of your business. Your business defines that. There are businesses where the window of visibility is 1 month. If the data is older than 1 month, the data is not important for the business and will not be retrieved by production anymore. Production doesn't care about a data older than 1 month or a data older than 6 months. On the other hand, there are other businesses that for many reasons needs to keep the information for many months. So, the lifetime of the data in production is completely different than the lifetime of the data in the analytics. In analytics, we need everything. We need everything. The more we have, the better. Because if we have 10 years of history of how the company was, we can analyze those 10 years and you can make comparisons of the data and take conclusions about those 10 years of data. Now imagine how crazy will go the DBA having to manage these two sets of data in the same place. He needs to make queries for recent data work while his database has thousands of records. I saw scenarios with database with billions of records when the actual production window was 1 month. And the queries start getting slower. Then your boss start complaining, and the customers start complaining, the users start complaining. Oh, the system is too slow. Why the system is too slow? Because you're mixing everything. Don't mix. Don't mix. Work well with a data window in production and removing the data from production when it's not needed anymore. Data ingestion and the modeling of the database. When I talk about modeling of the database, I'm talking about the definition of the tables, how we design the tables in this database. So, in production, the data ingestion is based on individual records. Inserts will happen by individual records. In analytics, it will be batch of records. Supposing that your boss is a good boss and decided to leave the environment isolated. So how the data is inserted in the analytics area? By making a batch which gets the changes from production and inserting analytics. So it's a batch insert. Batch 1 without annoying any user. I mean, without any user needing the answer immediately. They run overnight. So the need for performance is completely different than a simple insert of record when the customer is in front of you. Completely different. So we need performance for insert, but performance for the batch is secondary. What I mean, of course, we have limits. We may reach some limits where we need to optimize performance, but not to the same level as an individual record. We just can't allow the batch takes, for example, more than an entire night to run. This we can. But besides that, performance is secondary. So normalization is required. We have insert of individual records and we need performance for insert. What is normalization? Hello, welcome. What's your name?
Alex.
Alex. Great. So, what is normalization? Normalization in this case, I'm talking about how normalization ensures that one information will not be duplicated among the database. There will be no duplication of the information among the database. The information will be placed in a single location without any duplication. This is required for production. But for analytics, the needs for analytics are completely different. Why the needs for analytics are completely different? Because analytics needs high performance in select and don't care about the performance of the insert. Because the analytics don't care about the performance of the insert, if the information is a bit duplicated in two different tables, there is no problem. That's what we call as denormalization. So the methods that we use to make the modeling are different. We use one method for production, we use a completely different method to make the modeling for analytics. So the modeling of both are different. And what will happen if we mix both? One will lose something. One of them will be losing. Okay. Application versus business focus. Of course, this image was generated by AI. Of course. But what this image is trying to show? The top piece of the image represents the production environment. The down area of the image represents the analytical environment. And the idea is that in the production environment, usually you work by application. In this example, it's suggesting that you have a sales application, a contact application, a CRM application to manage the customers, and you have a support application. And you may have different information about the customers in each of these applications. Who is the customer? The customer is the union of the information that the three applications are generating. You cannot create a silo based on only a subject. You need to understand who is the customer. And to understand who is the customer, you need the information from the three applications, not one. So while production evolves based on applications to solve a specific problem, and usually these applications have different pieces of data about the same thing, when we go to the data analysis, if you want to make a good analysis, you need to join the information based on the business. And based on the business, what you have is customer. So you need to extract the customer information from all the applications. Each piece of customer information that each application is holding needs to be extracted and joined into one element, like one table, just a simplification. One table inside the analytical area. What this means? This means that, again, it's reinforcing that the modeling on the analytical area is completely different than the modeling on the production area. So the way the database is developed is completely different. So idea is to just get the data, move there and take the report, completely wrong. A data engineer is not only a data mover, he's a guy who really needs to plan the analytics area, who needs to come with a plan of analytics area. Worse than that, he's a guy that needs to fight with everyone, because even who will consume the data for analytics purpose, they are used to the modeling of the application level. I already got many users, internal customers in companies who were making demands about analytics based on their knowledge of the tables in the applications, when in fact I knew the analytics could join, summarize, structure the data, and deliver something 10 times better. But they keep making requests based on what they know, and usually the requests don't make sense. That's one more reason why the analysis, in this case, the Power BI, needs to be linked to the analytical area and not to the production area. In this production, we have 3 applications, only 3 applications. Do you imagine the work a Power BI developer would have to get customer information from 3 different sources and join this together in a semantic model, for example? Crazy. This should not be work of a Power BI developer. This is a data engineering work by transforming the production in analytical storage, and the Power BI developer consumes the analytical storage. Summary of all this that we talked about. So, the modeling doesn't match. The modeling of the 2 types of environment don't match. So one environment will lose if we keep them together. The optimization of resource doesn't match if we keep together. I said one will lose, but it's more than both will lose. Both will have problems, like this scenario that I was talking about. Both will have problems. So, data window doesn't match. Keep it together, and both environments will lose. Analytics with app focus will be a mess. Yes, analytics with app focus will be a mess. And let me confess one thing. Talking about app focus here in a definition session, I'm talking about the beautiful side of the difference. This is the beautiful and interesting side of the difference, because usually the problem is way dirty than this. Way more dirty than this. Let me give you an example. I faced a scenario with a sales company, and the sales company had sales teams, and they had to track the performance of the sales team. It's a natural data analysis that if there is a change on the sales team, the performance needs to be analyzed. How that change on the sales team affected the performance of the team. This is an important analysis to have to understand, especially if the change is a critical change, critical human change inside the sales team. Hello, welcome. So especially if it's a critical change inside the sales team, that needs to be analyzed. Now, try to guess what was used as the name of a sales team in this company. The name of the leader of the team. The name of the leader of the team was the name of the team. And if you just copy the data as is, you get the name of the team and the name of the leader of the team. A change on the leader of a sales team is a critical change. You need an analysis to see how that impacted the sales amount of that sales team. But if the name of the sales team is the name of the leader and the leader changes, what happens? That team doesn't exist anymore, and there is a new team. So how you make this analysis? So you have a completely disturbed set of data that prevents the company to make the analysis they should be making. And if you go to some bosses and ask them and explain the problem and ask them, okay, and so no problem. Okay, they don't care. They don't care. And this hurts the souls of a data engineer and a data analyst, seeing that the company is losing opportunities in relation to the data analysis. So, questions? Anyone would like to mention some example that you have?
I am a DBA and data engineer, so I see a lot of these things happen in production, like the management, the boss, trying to put the analytics inside of the database, transaction database, and always the DBA is crazy. No, don't put this. It's going to be a mess. And no, it's okay. In the end, it's a mess. And we have a lot of problems and change.
And then who got the blame?
This happened a lot. Because this, to understand the difference, it's very good to don't do these mistakes.
But it needs this kind of study like the one that we just did in this 1 hour. And they don't want to know. They don't want to know the information. Yeah. It's too much information for them. So they don't care.
Yeah.
And then they blame us.